and you're watching Pro Teaches News. Ooh, is somebody talking about pros? Not that kind of pro. See you there.
Hey guys, welcome to another lesson of Pro Teaches News. Today I'm with me, Jared.
Lois Lane sucks. I'm only kidding.
You couldn't help yourself, dude.
I couldn't help it, dude. I had to say it.
We're not even talking about Lois. We're going to be talking about Lex Luthor here.
That's my one lowest joke for this episode.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, but this is where we get the unauthorized biography, the story that tells us a lot about Post-Crisis Lex Story. And yes, the cover is based off of Trump's book.
I was about to say.
And this image will be utilized for the Baldies, which was basically the Superman team's equivalent of the Marvel No Prize. If someone would send him a letter and tell him something that wasn't right, they you get a Baldy, and then they would send it mail to them.
Yeah, I will say, Lex is looking like he's ready to make Metropolis great again.
Yeah, or he looks like Kingpin.
Yeah. Actually, he does look a lot like Kingpin.
But yeah, and this has the great Eduardo Barreto artwork. He's the guy who did so many books, but especially I know him best for Superman Speeding Bullets.
Oh, cool.
Yep, but with inking and coloring by Adam Kubert. Yeah, Adam Kubert does great inking too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just dive right in, shall we? Mr. Luthor, we've just received a police tape by helicopter. Excellent. Why don't you put on something more suitable? After I'm done watching this tape, I'll want you. So you're the new psychologist, and so you're the new psychologist. What do you think of the killer in there? Basically, Clark is believed to have killed someone. We'll get to it. Really, Lieutenant? He hasn't even been proved guilty yet. Give me a break. This Clark Kent's a classic quiet type. Guys like him are always killing people. I've seen it 100 times. I suppose your men are going to use the old good cop, bad cop routine on him. You side people think you got all the answers. Just watch my men. They'll have him singing like a choir. He can't hear us, can he? The way he's sitting there, it's like, nah, don't let him fool you. He's hearing now, of course.
Mm-hmm.
These clowns always try to see through the glass. Well, looks like they're about to start. Mr. Kent, I'm Detective Hector Ortiz. This is my partner, Detective Ed Harris. Oh, the actor? I understand you've waived your right to counsel. Yes, sir. I don't need a lawyer to prove my innocence. I'm sure this interview will convince you of that. Is that a fact? Well, how are you going to explain these? Answer me that one, sport. You were the last one to see him alive. People next door said they heard shouting and breaking glass. Said their ears were really ringing. Oh, ringing. The phone. Jeez whiz. Now, this was him dead, but then this is him waking up beforehand. Feels like I wet the bed. No, just wine. Paolo's my only bed partner these days. Hello? Peter Sands. This is Sally's attorney, John Quinn. You haven't been making those alimony payments, Peter. We're going to be having to send the sheriff over unless you... sorry, partner. I think you got the wrong number. Sands, you weren't fooling anyone with that. Clink. A 747's crashing over and over my head. Eyes are full of grit. Mouth tastes like old socks. Might as well start my daily routine. Spend 5 minutes talking to the toilet. Thank God there's no blood. I always think there'll be blood. 4 Tylenols and a hot shower gets my brain cells in gear. Welcome to the land of the living. Now my problem starts screaming for attention. I'm hurting bad. There's no money in my account. The final notice on my electric bill came in yesterday. My rent is past due. There's got to be someone who will advance me some money. After all, I'm a good reporter. I've broken lots of stories. Should be no problem at all. I'll call some of the publications I've worked for. Start at the top and work my way down. Should only take one call. Advance? You'd have to be crazy to think I'd ever advance you money again, Peter. You show up drunk for interviews. Last time you puked over Don Johnson. We spent weeks dodging his people. The Hollywood scandal doesn't give advances to unimpressible losers, Sam. Why don't you check into a detox clinic? Maybe you'll find a story in there while they dry you out. Like, I love you, Peter, but Hot Babes has a lot of overhead. And I got bills. I got models to pay. Be talking to you, kid. Kiss, kiss. Are you out of your freaking mind? Get out of here, Sam, before I send someone over to rip your lungs out. Phone again. Who's after me now? Should I or shouldn't I? What the hell? Won't kill me to answer. Hello? Peter, this is Ellen Fitcher at Tinseltown Press. Our publisher is looking for more product. He cited your book, The Marilyn Monroe Murder, as what he's interested in seeing. We'd like to know if you have any other books in the work, especially something like a nice, juicy bio. Yeah, I'm doing one right now. Fantastic. What's it about? Lex Luthor. It's an unauthorized biography. And I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Spur of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, that's pretty clever, right? It's like spur of the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah!
Oh, God. Yeah, this happened to me recently, too. I'm like, what is up with this?
I don't know. Wait, I just realized I didn't have to refresh. I realized there is actually a workaround.
Okay.
Hold on. There we go. That sounds great. Could do better than Trump's book. Is it dirty? Is it full of steamy sex and shady deals? Well, yeah, but I'm having a little problem with expenses. There's a lot of good material here, but I need some cash to follow up on my leads. Well, I'm sure we can send something to help you out. Is $3,000 enough for starters? You're a lifesaver, Ellen. Do you think you can FedEx that check to me ASAP? Sure thing. You'll have it in the morning. I can't thank you enough. You're welcome. Bye now. A little speechless, Kent. What makes you so sure I killed him? I only met him for the first time last night. What possible motive could I have? Well, and now, Clark, be reasonable. Peter Sands was a reporter like you. He was working on something you must have wanted. An indication that some notes were stolen. And then there's this little piece of damning evidence. Peter Sands wrote the name of his killer on the floor with his own blood. Uh-oh. I started the public library looking for background material. Luthor wrote an autobiography years ago. Luckily, they have one in stock. Simply brilliant, huh? Modest mother. This was way back when he had hair. The microfiche library provides me with years of newspaper articles. Lex has been a busy boy. He's been playing philanthropist like a good little billionaire. Over the years, his corporate takeovers have been almost Napoleonic in scope. Self-made billionaires don't get the top without a few skeletons in the closet. There's bound to be a dirty laundry somewhere. The trick is to find it. I'm making copies of every single article. Somewhere between the lines are the clues I'm going to need. I like this. Yes, he's a drunkard, but he's taking this seriously.
Yeah, he's actually doing his job.
Exactly, because he has to. Like back home, I read Luthor's book. It's what I expected. Sanitized and egotistical as hell. But there are holes in his narration. You can feel a darkness seeping between the lines. He's trying to gloss over something, maybe many things. His family is mentioned in passing. They died in a car crash when he was 13. He says he supported himself after that. No details are given. This page is disturbing me. Every paragraph, every page fills me with cold chills. There's something missing. It haunts the fringes of my thoughts. I try to focus in. I try to listen, but all I hear is background noise. All I see is lies and smoke. Lies, noise, smoke. Put it all together and you realize that something's wrong here. This can't be right. Pictures don't lie, Spart. Why don't you just confess and save us the headache? Because I didn't kill him. I had no reason to. He invited me over. Invited you, my eye. Clark, we know this is hard on you. Why don't you tell us how you came to meet Mr. Sands? Let's start at the beginning. I was working at the planet yesterday when I got this call. It was Peter Sands. I've never heard of him. He told me he was a fellow reporter. He said he had some info I might want. I told him to be more specific, but he said it was too dangerous to talk about on the phone. He asked me to come over to his apartment because he was afraid to go outside. There was something about the way he said it. I believed him, so I went over to see him after work. You slut! I know you're seeing him. Give me a break, Frank. Those weren't my hairpins. I found under. Give me a break, Frank. Those weren't my hairpins I found under the pillow last night. Go to hell! I'm not watching that stupid show. You pig! Don't you care about my feelings? Where's my damn beer? Bring me my beer. Who's there? Clark Kent. Get in quick. and beer smell blasted from him in waves. His eyes were red. They danced like gypsies. Ow! 80s, folks! 80s, folks! He was drunk, paranoid. His place was a mess. I wanted to leave. Glad you could make it. You should have gotten here sooner. And what did you want to tell me? Did anyone follow you? No, I don't think so. You don't have any idea how serious this is. You know too much about him. His men are after me. Whose men? Who are you talking about? You have to get Superman. He's the only one I can trust. Now, hold on a second. I know I've been connected to Superman a couple of times, but it's not like I have his phone number. Damn it, haven't you been listening? They want to kill me. Everything I've learned about Luthor will be erased. All right, calm down. Just tell me your story and I'll see what I can do. I've been putting together a biography on Lex Luthor. I've uncovered things that would put him away for life. Now I'm being followed night and day. People try to kill me. I can't trust the police. I can't trust you, but I'm willing to trust Superman if you can get him. Can I see your notes? Maybe if I have more information. No way! Get me Superman and I'll show you whatever you want. Until then, no one sees them. Very well. Keep your doors and windows locked. I'll have him come over as soon as possible. So I went out to contact Superman. Peter Sands was perfectly healthy when I left him. You expect us to believe that story? What's Lex Luthor got to hide? Spent the night finishing Luthor's book. Didn't even get drunk. Felt so good this morning. I even cleaned up my apartment. Guess I'm on the wagon again. And afterwards, I take the subway to the east side of the slum. And this is where Luthor got his humble beginnings. Yeah. So yeah, he's on the wagon. He's cleaned up and everything. But yeah, suicide slum. I'm wearing my street face now. You need a street face in urban hell. It keeps the locals off your back. Looking into Luthor's origin presents some problem. He has no living relatives. There is no school records past the 7th grade. I checked, but his last recorded teacher is still alive. She lives here in retirement. This is what Social Security gets you these days. Who's there? Mrs. Anderson? My name's Peter Sands. I'm a reporter. But here we go. Reporter? What does the reporter want with me? I'm writing a book on Lex Luthor. I understand you were a teacher once. I thought you might. I can't help you. Go away! I spend 5 minutes talking to her. I tell her she'll be an anonymous source if she likes. She keeps saying the past is behind her. I can tell she's wavering. My charm wins out. Her answers come slowly at first. She seems a little afraid of the subject, but after a while it starts pouring forth in luscious verbal streams. It's been 30 years since I taught that boy, but I can never forget him. His image is etched into my mind, even though I've tried to forget him. He was a genius, far beyond the other students in his class, but he was also cruel, especially towards girls. His only friend was a boy named Perry White. Perry was a good kid, but Lex seemed to be a bad influence. Lex also had enemies. There were these two boys who were always picking on him. Their names were Edward Kelly and Richard McGreer. One day they came to school looking as if they'd been in a serious accident. There was a rumor going around that Lex paid some grown men to beat them up. I didn't believe it until I noticed that these boys never bothered Lex again. It wasn't long before Lex's parents died that he moved away. What happened to him? Where'd he go? He got an insurance settlement for the death of his parents. The little stinker was rich. After the interview, I take the subway downtown. I start to get into and get that special buzz. I'm onto something serious. It takes several hours, but I find the insurance company that paid off Lex and young Luthor. At the age of 13, he was awarded $300,000. That was a lot of money back then. A lot of money. I get the name of the insurance salesman. I find out where he lives. Lucky me, he didn't retire to Palm Beach. I only had to take a cab across the river to the suburbs. I have to find out about this policy. Luthor's parents were poor. They were antisocial. Why would they take out such a huge policy? Doesn't make sense. Mr. Bryant? Yes? What can I do for your son? I'm Peter Sands. I spoke to you earlier on the phone. Oh, yes. Come in. Come in. Bryant was only too happy to talk. He started to rattle on as soon as we were seated. Yes, sir, I remember that policy well. Damnedest policy I ever sold. How's that? Well, for one thing, the size of it. And also, it came in the mail. Back then, I had to go door to door. And so I made a house call on the Luthor. They'll let them know they've been approved. Only to have Mr. Luthor call me every name in the book. He said he never ordered any insurance. Said if I ever came around there again, he'd kill me. A couple of days later, I get this letter. It was from Mr. Luthor. He apologized to the way he acted. Said he forgot about sending me the policy. said he and his wife were going to go away for the weekend, but he'd buy me a drink when he returned. The next day, they were dead. Their car swerved into another lane and ran smack dab into a semi. Was their car checked for tampering? Tampering? Why would anyone tamper with their car? I just had a mechanic see if they had a faulty steering column. He said it was impossible to tell. You wouldn't happen to remember the mechanic's name by any chance? As a matter of fact, I tracked down the... I like this, if you notice. Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom.
Yeah.
Doing what a reporter does.
Yes, exactly.
Like Lois in Man of Steel.
Yeah, exactly. I will say this. Say what you want about Man of Steel. It actually showed Lois is smart because she figured out that Clark Kent is Superman.
But to be fair, but that was because of how Clark lived his life up to that point to get to that.
No, but still, it's like...
No, I agree. I'm just saying, any normal version of Clark would not have been that sloppy.
True.
That's what I'm trying to say is.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, here, he's getting lucky. Lex will even call him out on that. I tracked down the mechanic. Takes me a whole day. He's rich now, owns a chain of auto parts stores. He refused to talk to me, so I did some digging into his past. The man quit his job 2 days after Mr. Luthor's settlement came in. He bought his first auto parts store immediately afterwards. Gee, let me guess where he got the money. Damn the phone. Hello? Mr. Sands, we do not approve of your research. Stop now while you still can. Click. I don't know what Sands had on Luthor, but it must have been pretty serious. He was really scared. This is the stupidest story I've heard all week. Lex Luthor is this country's biggest philanthropist. You're going to have to do a bet and do better, sport. I'm telling the truth. Let's get back to when you left Sands' apartment. You said you went out to contact Superman. Sands' body was discovered by Superman, but it was 6 hours after you said you left. Why did you wait 6 hours before contacting Superman? I didn't. I contacted him right after I left. I can't tell you why it took him so long to show up. Maybe it was the Tokyo quake. I really can't say. Hey, why didn't you come back and wait? I thought you wanted to read Sands' notes. I went home. I was reading a book. Yeah, sure. And I bet there's no one who can confirm that. No, there's no one. Oh, biting him in the ass.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, there it is. See what I mean? I just realized you just go down there, the page browser, it does it. So no need to read. Oh, come on. Because they do have
to. They have to.
Sometimes it fixed it the first time. No. This is damn good, though, isn't it?
It's good. I'm enjoying it.
Yep. I couldn't sleep at all last night. The phone call had me tossing and turning, just like the song. When day comes, I hit in the streets again and wondering if I lost my mind. This thing's taken hold of me. I decided to keep going. And Tinseltown's going to get their book. I have to finish it. If I lose another publisher, I'm dead. Good. There's no doubt Luthor killed his parents for the insurance money. He must have bribed the mechanic to falsify the accident report, most likely by promising him a cut of the return. Proving it is going to be impossible. But who needs to prove anything? I'm a journalist, after all. Uh-oh, he's being followed.
There you go.
I move on to new territory. It's time I checked up on an old drinking buddy of mine. He once told me that he worked for Luthor in the 60s. Maybe he's got some juicy stories to tell. Problem is, old Harry's fallen on hard times. The bottle's been running his life even more than mine. Let's hope his brain cells are still working. Hello, Harry. Pete! My man, how are you doing? Not bad. How about you? I'm living, you know. So what are you doing here? You haven't been around for a long time. As a matter of fact, I'm writing a book. Thought you might be able to help. What's it about? The Nom? You were there too. No, it's about Lex Luthor. Oh, man. I don't know. Hey, it's your choice. I thought we might go to the bar and knock back a few. Luthor. Christ, Pete, that's... did you say something about drinks? Yeah, they're on me. Oh, they're just painting him.
Mm-hmm.
He's using his alcoholism to get the info from a fellow non-vet.
All right.
Well, as you know, I used to work for the bald butthead. I've seen some things, man. I've seen some things. Started working for the man after I got my discharge from the Army. He had this distribution company back then. Distribution? Look, Pete, this is some heavy news. If I tell you this stuff, you're involved too. I'm not in this for my health. Besides, I won't use your name in the book. Yeah. Uh-oh! That guy.
Okay.
Luthor was looking to make some quick money. He had this dream about starting a high-tech company, but he didn't have the startup capital. That's where I came in. I used to both be involved with Air America back in Nam. Air America? And that was a front company used to smuggle heroin to the States during the Vietnam War. You weren't CIA, Harry. I thought you were an Abinic Tech. That's right. I helped fix their planes. And they didn't hire too many brothers in those days. Man, and main thing is that it looked good on my resume when I sent it to see Luthor. Man had a need for people who didn't mind getting their hands dirty. You see, Luthor's a genius. I'll give him that. He saw the growing drug problem in America and knew it was the answer to his money predicament. Except Luthor don't like to get personally involved in stuff that might come back at him. He wants others to take the fall. The wise guys weren't having problems getting their stuff into the States. This was back around the time of the French Connection bus. Luthor figured out a way to eliminate their need to import and make himself rich at the same time. He created the first designer drug and showed the Dons how the labs could be set up all over the U.S. Luthor offered to sell his formulas and distribution system for a cool $2 million. He must have used an alias of some kind. Like I said, he likes to keep clean. All I know is the deal went through and somehow the slime bag ended up loaded. Of course, that's the way I figure it went down. Sounds like you hate him. You sound bitter. What'd you expect? The wise guys don't hire no blacks. They dump me. As for Luthor, he ain't exactly a crusader for racial equality himself. Man's been using his influence to keep me out of work all these years. I can't get a decent job. He likes to make people suffer. Likes to show off his power. I think the man gets off on it. Man, oh man, I hope that books of yours puts that scumsucker away for good. So do I, pal. So do I. What are you going to do now? Who are you going to see? There's this woman who used to work for Luthor back in the 70s. I found out about her in an old newspaper article. She used to date him, so I bet she's got something to say. Just make sure you dust Luthor, man. Make sure you blow his behind to hell. Harry, move! Boom! Harry! Harry, are you? Oh, God! Somebody, please call an ambulance. Dude, check out the blood. He's dead. Wow. Oh, well, and what one of you call it? No! Police siren slash the air behind me. I don't hear the gunmen follow. I'm history. I'm gone. Gone to do my last interview. I shouldn't even be here. I should have gone home. What for? I'm as good as dead no matter where I go now. I need more ammo before I turn my notes over for protection. I need something juicy. Maybe this Melissa Dugan can help me. Maybe she's got some answers. Yes? Miss Dugan, this is Peter Sand. I made an appointment to see you. Oh, yes. I'll buzz the door for you. She sounded nervous, a little afraid maybe. Christ, Peter, go home. Don't involve other people in this mess. Harry died because of me. I can't drag someone else down. But I'm still walking forward. I haven't backed out. Maybe she'll tell me to go away. Maybe she'll slam the door in my face. Yeah, she won't let me in. She'll make me leave. Hello? Oh, why don't you come in? Damn. We sit down. She doesn't get close. I can tell she doesn't like the beer smell on my breath. Damn, should have shaved this morning. She's a looker. When she talks, it's like a voice like silk, sliding across smooth flesh. I was only 23 when I met Lex. This was right after I got out of college. I earned a master's in electronics and was looking for an entry-level position with a design firm. I was reading the paper one morning when an article caught my eye. It was all about Lex. It talked about his company, LexCorp, which was designed to revolutionize technology as we know it. I was impressed by this young entrepreneur. I decided I was going to work for him. The following week, I was hired by LexCorp. He welcomed me on my first day. He struck me as dynamic and burning. His eyes were filled with light. I wanted him, and I could tell he wanted me. We became lovers, and for a while we were inseparable, until I began to see him as he really was. Ah!
Oh, man. DC Online, come on, work.
Come on. Back then, Lex used to own the Daily Planet. He loved to boast how he used it to make himself richer. He would hire men to dig up incriminating evidence against his competitors. The Daily Planet would run an article using this information before a government contract was awarded. Lex Luthor would win the contract. His competitors would find themselves in a morass of lawsuits. Everywhere he went, his men would report to him. I would hear whispered accounts of executives driven to suicide, but careers destroyed by photos and documents. Lex made sure there was no one to challenge him. He was utterly ruthless. I wanted out of the relationship, but that only made Lex desire me more. We no longer made love. Instead, he hurt me. He became cruel. That's all I'm going to say. I quit Lex Luthor. I quit. I left him. He never forgave me for that. It was a long time before I could get another job. Even then, he had the power to blacklist people. But as you can see, I'm doing pretty well these days. I managed to get another job with Star Labs, a competitor of his, a company he hasn't been able to hurt. So far, I just wish there was a way I could hurt him. Pain. My head's throbbing, mouth's dry. I need a drink, a beer, 20 beers. I feel wasted. Dead. As dead as Harry Jones. God, what have I got myself into? I'm screwed. There's only one way out, not counting suicide. Can't trust the police. Luthor probably owns them. Forget the government. He must have senators eating out of his hands. I need to find someone stronger than Luthor. Someone he can't touch. Someone he doesn't control. Someone who's willing to help. Someone who believes in truth, justice, and what the hell? Someone ransacked my apartment. The tapes. If they got them, I'm lost. I didn't have the time to transcribe them on my computer. They've got to be here. Thank God. These tapes are the only chance I have that he'll listen. The one man who could protect me from Luthor. Everyone wants a piece of him. He isn't easy to get a hold of, but it's still but where there's a will, there's a way. A way to contact Superman. He has a friend named Clark Kent. Clark's a reporter. Reporters need stories. So how can we resist this one? I'm sorry, Clark, but you failed to convince us of anything. It looks bad, my friend. Face up to it, sport. You've had the means, the motive, and the opportunity. We don't have the murder weapon yet. You probably dumped in the river, but that's okay. We got you. You were the last person to see Peter Sands alive. You wanted his notes. You wanted his story. Your neighbors say they didn't hear you come home last night. You have no alibi. That leaves only one conclusion, sport. You killed Peter Sands. Admit it. I didn't do it. He was alive when I left him. Alive. I'll call him right away. I should be in a few minutes. Can't you call him on the phone? I'm afraid it's not that simple. But don't worry. I'm sure he'll come. The earthquake has leveled vast sections of Tokyo. The death toll is uncertain at this time, but it's estimated that thousands may be trapped in the rubble. The Japanese Prime Minister sent out a request for emergency aid. Oh! When's he going to get here? It's been over an hour. It's about time. I was wondering when you... Wakey. What the hell? Get up! Where are we? What is this? Shut your hole! Have a seat, Mr. Sands. I must say I'm impressed by the amount of information you've been able to obtain on me. Considering your limited resources and the number of days you've been working on this, it's quite an accomplishment. What do you want? Nothing I haven't already taken. Your tapes have been erased. Your notes have been incinerated. It's amazing me that people seem to think a toilet tank is an original hiding place. It's even more amazing that you chose to write my biography without requesting an interview. Well, I was trying to get some background material first. Of course you were, Mr. Sand. Of course. However, I cannot allow this book to be published. But what are you going to do? You'll be paid a kill fee. This project of yours is finished. But since you've gone to so much trouble, I thought you might at least like to know the answer to some of your questions. Go ahead. Ask me anything. Now, this question, I love this moment. They're like, did you kill your parents? Had you known them, you would have applauded my actions. He's dead the moment he asked that.
Yeah.
If he had asked any other question, I'm pretty sure Lex would have honored it. It's like, oh, shut up. He's probably scared him. But once he asked this, and I think he knew he was good as dead asking, but he needed to know. Mm-hmm. They were obnoxiously mediocre. They were pathetic. From the moment I could walk, I hated them. Their downfall was ever on my mind. Since we lived in a slum, I had access to all sorts of questionable types. My intellect and savvy impressed some of them. I gained their friendship. They even did me a few favors now and then. So I set up insurance policy before my parents went away. The alterations to their car were simple enough, and the mechanic was more than happy to write that false report, especially after my friends discussed it with him. Those were the days of my reckless use. I no longer involve myself with messy details. My current status makes it essential that I delegate such matters to others. Indeed, the loose ends you've uncovered are rather embarrassing. But thanks to you, they've been identified and can now be eliminated. Please, if those people interview, you're not going to. All physical evidence, like the insurance records, have been destroyed. As for the people, well, your friend Harry Jones was the only one who could compromise my deniability. This isn't to say I'm totally unforgiving. Take Richard, for example. Richard and his friend Ed Kelly used to pick on me in grade school. My neighborhood acquaintances put a stop to that with a little nonverbal persuasion. Years later, I discovered that Richard had grown up to become felons. I offered them a new life, working for me. Richard wisely accepted, but foolish Edward Kelly still bore a grudge after all those years. He spat in my face. Oh, will you look at the time? I'm afraid I must leave you now. I have to be at my chalet in Aspen tonight. Just one last question. Why? Why do you do these things? Why? Ah! Right at the good part! Come on! Right at the good part!
Come on,
right at the good part! All right, life is short. I could have become like my parents, I chose to wallow in cheap emotion and self-loathing as they did. Instead, I chose to become a god. I control human lives instead of being in control. I could destroy someone with a phone call, which is why I cannot abide Superman. There's only room for one god on this planet. I'm determined to bring him down at any cost, and I will, using his friends to... My enemies will continue to fall before my vast corporate empire. For example, there was this company in Tokyo that was beginning to give me some serious competition. They had no idea what they were up against, or the technology I possessed to effect their demise. They know now. A god must be severe. This was an interesting chat, Mr. Sands. I'm afraid your time is over. Goodbye. Knocked out, and then... The hall's empty, Rich. Let's go. Ah, that's Rich! Mm-hmm. One of the bullies. Your buddy Superman found Sam's body just like you see there, just like you left him. It just goes to show how honest old Superman is. He could have wiped your name. Maybe he doesn't think much of your friendship, sport. Superman knows I'm innocent. The truth is going to surface. You'll see. Commissioner McLean, what can I do for you? Let him go. We have new evidence. Indeed, the murder weapon turned up. It's Prince belonging to a convicted felon named Edward Kelly. Kelly has a history of assault and robbery. They put an APB on him. What about the blood message? The position of Sam's body in relation to the letter showed that he couldn't have written it. The labs confirmed this. No offense, miss, but who the hell are you? I'm Mr. Kent's attorney. I don't have an attorney. What the hell's going on here? Gentlemen, let's leave the lady alone with her client. Your work here is done. Yes, sir. Come on, let's go. But the tape's still running. I know, I'll take care of it. I've been hired by Mr. Lex Luthor to ensure you're free and clear you of any charges against you. Mr. Luthor became very concerned when he heard you were in trouble. I bet he was. He wants you to understand that he might not be able to help you in the future, should this ever happen again. What does he want from me? You're Superman's closest friend. You must know a lot of things about his personal life, his past, who he's dating, things like that. Mr. Luthor will be giving you a call someday. He's going to ask you some questions. As your attorney, Mr. Kent, I'd advise you to cooperate. After all, you wouldn't want something like this to happen again. Lisa, I want you now. Did you enjoy the tape, Mr. Luthor? Let me show you. After all, actions speak louder than words. Well,
that was great. I love that.
I gotta say, this is better than Lex Luthor Man of Steel.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This was best Luthor story, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that? Like, this is perfect Lex.
I like it.
And poor guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Poor Peter, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you like best about this?
Well, the art was fantastic, and I liked how they had you in the mind of the journalist as he's like piecing together all this stuff. So it's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm. But again, this moment was Lexia, this pause. It's like I said, Peter knows he's dead by asking that question. But again, this is the most evil Lex. The fact he was involved with drugs too. which I think that was one of the few things that the other writers were not happy with. Because this is not by any of the regular Superman writers. So some about like Roger Stern was not happy having Lex being involved with drugs added to it. Which I can understand why he'd be annoyed.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, this is perfect Lex. The funny thing is, Lex is barely in it.
Yeah, because really what it's showing is like the effect Lex has on people, like his influence.
Yep. And seriously, it's like when people utilize this type of Lex, this is my favorite Lex. You know what I mean? And again, just perfectly. And again, the artwork is great. The writing on this was just so phenomenal. And poor Clark, right?
Yeah, I know.
What did you think about that? The Clark start. What did you think about the Clark stuff?
I kind of thought it was kind of interesting where like he's like wrongfully accused of a crime. He's like in the interrogation room and they're like, "Don't worry, there's no way he can hear us." And I'm like,
but there's no way for him to get out of this.
Yeah, he's like, okay, well, what do I do? I can't say I'm Superman.
Yeah, and you can't have Superman come in to say something.
Yeah, exactly. So he has to be very careful on that.
But the fact is, Lex, perfect opportunity for Lex, and you tell Lex plan this. Even the fact that even we hint off he was responsible for the earthquake. That surprised me, although that's a bit of a stretch. Having technology that can create an earthquake.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that was not necessary. Would you agree with that? That was probably the one bit that was not needed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it's an earthquake. We don't need to have Lex be responsible for that. But again, the fact that he used that, even mentioning about, Richard is the guy who stabbed him, but then he uses this moment to frame Kelly when you're like, wait, it took him till now to frame Kelly? Then again, just using this to get Clark. And again, it's so clear Lex told him to do this so that Clark could get, happy in this moment.
Exactly.
See right there.
Yeah.
This was Lex's plan to get Clark to utilize his note. Even says what he said earlier. And I will, using his friends to. Again, everything in here was smartly written.
Yeah, exactly.
So I give this a 10 out of 10. This is
I like it. I really enjoyed it.
Quintessential Lex. If you notice, he still has the gloved hand.
Yeah.
Because that was his robotic hand.
Exactly.
But yeah, like I said, the Lex Luthor Man of Steel was good. It was good, but this, they don't try to humanize it. They show what an absolute monster he is, but what an incredible genius mind he is. You know what I mean? And it turns out it would also be revealed later on that his step family were just as bad. But I always loved this idea of him doing. I think this was the first time they gave up with the idea of him doing the insurance policy.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a pre-crisis thing to me, does it?
No, not really.
But I'm glad they kept that because that's perfect. Would you agree with that? Like that is just a perfect idea. But yeah,
there are certain things from pre-crisis that you can roll over if it's done well, and this is done really well. I really.
Well, no, this is a post-crisis thing. I'm saying.
Oh yeah, well, regardless, yeah, it was really enjoyable. I really liked it.
Yep. But again, Peter was just a smartly written character too. He's like, you would have think he would have done it and burned this bridge with the publisher. He's like, no, I can't afford that. I can't afford to do this. But the fact that all of this done, the fact he said, a call won't kill me. And again, the fact that it was just by a lark. It could have been anyone that he could have said, I'm going to do with his biography on. But it happened to be it was Luthor because he was just there at his newspaper. I love the happenstance of it. You know what I mean? And again, I wish that we would get more of this Lex.
Yeah.
Tell me if you agree with this. Would you say this is better than Snyderverse Lex?
No, I still enjoyed that one more.
Really? Okay.
Because that one was more, again, it's Lex for the modern day that we live in right now. And I understood what they were going for it.
Fair enough.
I still like this one, though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and this really cements businessman Lex.
Mm-hmm.
I think this cements it more than any of the regular comics did. This cements why he's a monster.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, like Kingpin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was our lesson, everyone. Thank you, Jared, for joining me. Thank you, and everyone else.
Anytime.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Adios.
Take care.